The sun didn't shine on the land that day. It punished it. It pressed down like a judgment from the sky, flattening the plains into a shimmering mirage. The earth was split open in 1,000 places, cracked like old bone. Nothing moved except the flies and the distant whisper of wind dragging dust across the emptiness. And in the middle of that endless, burning nothing, a woman was dying. She stumbled through the tall, dead grass as if each step were her last. Her wrists were tied in front of her with rope that had long ago stopped being just rope. It had become part of her skin, cutting, burning, carving deep red grooves into flesh that was already swollen and bruised. Her dress was torn nearly to rags. Dried blood and dirt clung to it like a second skin. Her hair hung in wet, tangled strands across her face. She fell. Her knees hit the ground first. Then her shoulder. Then her face. Dust filled her mouth, her nose, her eyes. She tried to breathe and failed. For a long moment, she stayed there, the heat pressing her into the earth as if the land itself wanted to claim her. She thought, dimly, that this was how it ended. Then she saw something. Not tope. Not rescue. Used to shape. A broken barrel, half buried in the dirt, split and sun-rotted. But it was something solid. Something to hold on to. She crowed. Every inch forward felt like dragging her body through fire. The rope scraped against the ground. Her skin screamed. When she reached the barrel, she tried to pull herself up. The wood collapsed under her weight, leaving splinters in her palms. She leaned against it anyway. It was all she had left. Flies gathered on her arms. Her lips. The open wounds. She tried to brush them away, but her hands wouldn't obey. Her voice came out as a whisper, cracked and dry. Please. God, not like this. Then came the sound. Always. Slow. Heavy. Real. Her body went rigid. What strength she had left turned into fear. She tried to stand. Her legs refused. She pressed her forehead against the hot wood of the barrel. Not again, she whispered. Please, not again. The rider stopped a few paces away. The horse snorted. Bowed at the dirt. Boots hit the ground. Spurs chimed. A shadow fell over her. She turned her head slightly. Her vision swam. The man stood with the sun behind him, his face hidden in light. But she saw the gun on his hip. Her heart pounded. Once. Twice. Then it went hollow. She forced the words out with what little breath she had left. Don't untie me. The man didn't move. Just do it. The wind seemed to stop. Only the flies and the creak of leather remained. I looked down at her. Saw the bruises. The brand burned into her arm. The way the dirt was pressed into every line of her face. I took off his hat and let the sun hit her gun gray and a face carved by years and regret. His name was Jack Callahan. 58 years old. A man who had buried more than he could remember and tried not to feel any of it anymore. I knelt beside her. Miss, he said quietly. You're safe now. She laughed. It was a small, broken sound. Safe, she said. There is no safe. Not while is still breathing. Jack's eyes narrowed. Who? Her lips trembled. Wait. Then her body went slack. She collapsed against him. Her skin burned with fever. Her pulse was weak. I caught her before she hit the ground and lifted her as if she weighed nothing at all. The name stayed with him. Wade. I knew it. And he hated it. I looked down at the woman in his arms, her wrists still tied. And in her silence, he heard something he hadn't heard in years. Responsibility. All right, he muttered. You picked the wrong man to beg from. I ain't the one who'll kill you. I cut the ropes, lifted her onto his horse, and turned toward the valley. The ride back was quiet. She whispered things in her sleep. Names. Blesses. Pieces of prayers that didn't they quite hold together. By the time they reached the ranch, the sun was sinking low. The place was tired. Fences leaning. Barn sagging. A house that had forgotten what laughter sounded like. But it was safe. I laid her on a cot and gave her water. The fever didn't break. When she woke, the first thing she did was grab her wrists. "You untied me," she said. "Seemed decent." She studied his face. "Why?" Jack shrugged. Looked like Jude had enough hurt for one lifetime. "My name is Clara," she said. "I was a teacher. Back east." I nodded slowly. "What were you doing out here?" "They said it was a school," she whispered. "They lied." Didn't they ask more? Didn't they need to?" The next day, another woman arrived. Elisa. She brought a box. Inside were names. Dates. Payments. And Tom Kajan's handwriting. Jack's brother. That was when the storm truly began. By the time Jack wrote to the broken church, he already knew blood would be spilled. Corbin was waiting. "What is dog?" They drew at the same time. The shot left Jack's shoulder burning and Corbin dying in the dirt. Near his hand was a ladder. Engraved. Tom Callahan. Jack closed his fist around it. "Come find me," he muttered. And Tom did. The storm came with him. They stood in the house where they learned to walk. Tom held a gun. But his eyes were worse. "Why?" Jack asked. "I tried," Tom said. "But Wade owns everything. You can still choose." Tom's hand shook. The shot echoed. And it was over. By morning, the land was clean again. Clara and Eliza left. Jack stayed. Sometimes being decent doesn't save the world. But sometimes, it saves the part of it that still matters. And sometimes, that has to be enough.